Hey everybody, Webby here, resuming with another episode of our Fate Granddaughter playthrough. So, perhaps Shaldes didn't exist in a history where Mr. El Malloy II came from. Your world and our world, I'm not sure which one is proper history, however. It's obvious that both worlds are centered and extremely close to each other, otherwise you wouldn't... Jesus, scrolling of this one's much slower than the other one. You wouldn't have been summoned. You're talking about the cluster of parallel worlds in the primary branch. In other words, phenomena, permissible for a vision that share the same future, despite minor differences. In phenomena designated for removal, the cluster of parallel worlds that would eventually lead to ruin like fallen leaves. Can we get to the bit where we kill things? Unfortunately, that kind of topic is out of my purview. It's a part of the world that, unless you're one with a heroic spirit like me, is hard to understand. Besides, it's not something Webimoto must hear either. Yeah, that's right. I don't need to hear that sort of garbage. Based on the events that occurred in my world, mind you. Yeah, sure. So, your records indicate that the first Holy Grail War took place in Fuyuki City in 2004. However, as far as I know, the Holy Grail War has occurred 5 times in Fuyuki City. 5 times? That many? Why is that demonic thing there? I see. So depending on the situation, a Holy Grail War already happened 5 times already. Wait, 5 times already? A ritual of that scale was performed 5 times? It is true. How did they hide it from everybody? Don't tell me the Holy Grail War is a competitive sport in your world. And people treat it like the Olympic Games, pretty much. A rather amusing idea, but that's not it, Doctor. In our case, the Majors Association and Holy Church colluded to cover everything up. It's church collusion. We need a special council to investigate this, I'm afraid. Of course they did. Phew, that scared me. Please continue, Professor. The temporal axis observed this time was not the 2004 where Singularity F was located, but 10 years earlier, the 4th Holy Grail War. When it comes to my world, it's not a surprise that you would detect a Holy Grail in the past at those coordinates. Wafer was in that in Fate Zero. The possibility that a Holy Grail could exist at that era in the past, indeed that would be able to give birth to a new singularity. Could this be a misadjustment of Sheba's part? I mean, to observe the light of civilization in the past. I personally hope that's the case. Now that human history has been incinerated, it's impossible to observe light on a normal temporal axis. If a light is lit on Shaldes in the current state, then that can only be a singularity that's removed from the temporal axis. Am I right, Doctor? This is probably a stain that has already been disconnected from human history and will eventually contaminate it. Exactly, Professor. No matter what this singularity actually is, we must retrieve the Holy Grail that exists there. I suppose so. Retrieving or destroying it is the mission given to Webimoto. Good, can we get started now, please? However, there is a problem. That you're still talking? I consider that to be a problem. The main reason why the Holy Grail War was repeated 5 times for Fuyuki was because the Holy Grail never manifested itself. Not even once. Also, due to a certain accident, this ritual has been mutated to a state you can barely call it ritual anymore. In conclusion, you mustn't retrieve this Holy Grail. It is a Holy Grail and must not manifest. It's just poison. While attempted to participants as a wish-granting device, in truth it was merely a device of mass destruction created for the purpose of eliminating the world. You are really knowledgeable. Wow, there's good options you gave me there. Of course, I did my research. Besides, it's my responsibility as a participant. No, I just want to reassure myself. I put in a considerate amount of effort to dismantle Fuyuki's Holy Grail. When it comes to the circumstances surrounding this land, I've left no stone unturned. How dependable. From the way you sounded, I guess I don't have to ask you to help us, right? Doctor, you sure are a bad guy. You called me here because you wanted me to help, no? I will join this investigation. I believe I am the best observer, don't you think so? Yeah, you'll be a great help. Yes, it'd be very reassuring to have all the information about our destination. Then it's settled. Get ready for race shift now. Good, we're about to get started. The target coordinates of Fuyuki City, Japan, 1994. Looks like it's going to be different this time around too, so watch out. Yeah, whatever. That demonic thing. Alright, so we should go up against things from Fate Zero then. And I wonder if we get to use Waver as a... I assume we get to use him as a... yeah, there we go. Fate Zero. Axel Order. Used Waver as a servant. That's what I'm trying to say. The residential area. Alright, let's just go straight into this. We'll spend too long talking. So I can take the guest servant. Alright, sounds good. Ooh, I've got 4 more points to play with. Act 1, The Man Who Knows Fuyuki. You know Fuyuki City is based on Kobe. That's where that bridge is. So this is Fuyuki before it was in flames. Yes! Why is that thing here? Looks peaceful. Seeing how vibrant the city is, somehow I feel very relieved. But to think in 10 years, catastrophe would visit a quiet town like this, you shouldn't be too sentimental. We exist in a world where everything's been incinerated, not just this town. You're right, but my apologies. I could have worded it better. Yes, normal life is hard to come by, but don't get obsessed over it. Fearing the inevitable tragedy like the catastrophe of war would only slow you down. Because we fight as we are confronted with the destruction of mankind's past and future. What I meant was, we should keep that in mind and prepare ourselves for any situation. Take this instance, for example. You probably think there won't be any threat in a peaceful residential district at a time where everybody is asleep, correct? That's right. To be honest, I find it hard to believe this place was a site for the Holy Grail War. That perception is too naive. In a fight between mages, first you must question everything you see. For example, Qui Men Janjia, 8 Gates Golden Locks Formation. Oh, he's smoking a cigar. I hadn't noticed that. What is that? Assassin. I haven't seen that assassin before. Assassin servant? Was that presence concealment? But even so, that was way too concealed. Damn you, how is that possible? Are you asking how it's possible for me to see through your presence concealment? Well, I couldn't. However, I do know from my investigation that the assassin in the Fourth Holy Grail War could split into multiple entities and monitored the entirety of Fuyuki. Ah, I see. Yeah, it's the assassin. I knew we'd get caught in your surveillance network, seeing how flashy ray shifts can be. Then it's only natural for you to come scouting. Now that you're in my stone sentinel maze, there's no point in you using presence concealment. Now, Webimoto, it's time to put up a fight. I'll explain everything later. Well, that's handy. We'll go in there swinging fist, mate. We'll explain it later. Skill usage, confirmation. You choose to hide show a confirmation window before each skill used in the battle. Battle menu. Okay, yeah, we're up against Assassin. 19,000. Ooh. Although I think Waver here might be pretty strong. What will we do here? We'll do this, this, and this. So it should be effective. I love this attack. Those people in that house, they don't know what's going on out here. Awesome. All right. We should actually end this time out. Let's do... This should end it. We'll just use our crits. That's pretty effective. Oh, we got a coin. How much was that worth to us? 115. What is that? Event item. A seal engraved with the assassin emblem obtained during... Okay, so it's just a... I assume it's worth something. To someone. Enemy servant eliminated. The battle is over. And so's the episode, because we're at 10 minutes. We'll catch you in the next one. We'll resume from this very point. I'll talk to you then. Bye for now.